His dad's hands were still on my hips, and I could still hear my boyfriend yelling through the locked door, begging me to stop. But I didn't. I wanted him to hear every sound. I wanted him to suffer. But I never expected it to feel this good. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you're into true, messy stories like this, subscribe and don't forget to leave a comment after watching. I really want to know what you think. Would you do what I did? Let me take you back to the beginning. I was 25, living with a man I thought I'd marry someday, Jason. He was tall, charming, had this lazy grin that always got him out of trouble. We'd been together for 3 years. 3 years of me supporting him through job losses, depression, and even a DUI. I thought we were in it for the long haul. But then I found out the truth. It started with a late-night message. His phone lit up while he was in the shower. A heart emoji from someone saved as, Marcella work. Something in my stomach turned. He never talked about a Marcella. He barely had a job. I opened it. My hands were shaking. But what I saw made my whole body go cold. Nudes. Hers. His. And voice notes. One of them said, I can still feel your mouth on me, baby. Can't wait to sneak off again tomorrow. I didn't cry. Not then. I just sat there numb, waiting for him to come out of the shower. I asked him who Marcella was. He smiled and said, It's not what you think. I remember laughing. Not because it was funny, because it was pathetic. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just said, okay. But I didn't mean it. Something snapped inside me that night. And that's when I made a decision. A few days later, his dad came into town. I always liked Mr. Carter. He was nothing like Jason. Sophisticated, confident, and let's be honest, fine as hell for someone in his 50s. That silver hair, the tailored suits, the way he looked at me when Jason wasn't watching. I used to brush it off. But now? I leaned into it. I started dressing a little different. Tighter tops. No bra. Shorter shorts when I knew he was around. And he noticed. One night, Jason left to meet up with a friend. Probably her. And I was home alone with his dad. He brought a bottle of wine to the living room. Said he couldn't sleep. Said I looked like I needed a drink too. I didn't say no. We sat on the couch. Too close. He asked if Jason and I were okay. I said no. I told him the truth. He listened. Really listened. And then he touched my hand. I looked up. And the way he looked at me, it was nothing like the way Jason did. It was hungry. Protective. Dangerous. He asked, Do you want me to make you forget him for a night? And I whispered, yes. His lips were softer than I imagined. But his grip? Firm. Commanding. He didn't ask for permission after that first kiss. He just picked me up and carried me to the guest room like I weighed nothing. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears. And something else too, my own breath. Shaky. Excited. Scared. But not enough to stop. He laid me down on the bed and said, Let me take my time with you. And he did. He didn't rush. His hands explored me like he'd been thinking about this for a long time. Like he knew exactly where to touch. And how slow to move. He kissed my neck first, soft, warm kisses that made my skin ache for more. His fingers slid under my shirt. And when he felt I wasn't wearing a bra, he groaned. Not a polite little sound. A deep, raw groan from his chest like he had finally tasted something he'd been craving for years. He pushed the shirt up slowly, eyes never leaving mine. And when he finally really saw me, he whispered, You're even more beautiful than I imagined. That did something to me. He didn't just want my body. He wanted to worship it. His mouth moved lower, lips warm and deliberate as he kissed across my chest, teasing me with his tongue. Like he wanted me begging before he even got started. And I was. My hips moved on their own. Every part of me was hungry for more. And he knew it. He pulled off my shorts like he owned me. And when he saw what I already was, he smiled like the devil. You've been needing this, he said. I didn't respond. I just opened my legs wider. The moment his tongue touched me, I gasped. It was like everything I had bottled up, the anger, the betrayal, the pain, melted into pleasure. He didn't stop. Didn't rush. He took his time, flicking and sucking with this perfect rhythm that made my back arch off the bed. I grabbed the sheets. I bit my lip. I moaned his name quiet at first, then louder. And then I heard it. A knock at the door. Jason. He was back. Calling my name from the hallway. Babe. You home? I looked down at his father still between my legs, mouth glistening, looking up at me with this wicked grin. He whispered, "Let him hear." And then he went deeper. Faster. Harder. He wanted Jason to hear every sound. Every moan. Every slap of skin on skin. I lost control. I couldn't stay quiet even if I tried. My legs shook and I came with his name on my lips, not Jason's. It was the most intense orgasm I'd ever had. Jason pounded on the door. Yelling now. Panicked. But his dad. He just crawled up my body, kissed me full on the mouth and whispered, "This isn't a one-time thing, sweetheart. You belong to me now." I didn't sleep that night. He stayed in my bed. Arms wrapped around me like he wasn't my ex's father but my man. Like he owned me now. And in a way he did. The next morning Jason wouldn't look at me. He was quiet. Cold. He knew. He didn't say it. But he felt it. He saw the shift in me. And when his dad came out of the guest room shirtless, holding my coffee cup, Jason's face turned white. I smiled. Not because I was proud, but because I finally felt powerful. After that night something changed. I thought it was a one-time thing. A moment of revenge. A dirty little secret I'd lock away. But Mr. Carter, he had other plans. The next morning, he brought me breakfast in bed. Eggs, fruit, coffee, just how I liked it. He sat beside me, brushing hair from my face like we were already a couple. I smiled, trying to play it cool. But then he said it. "You don't belong to him anymore. You belong to me now." I laughed. Nervously. But he wasn't joking. That day Jason barely spoke to me. But his dad wouldn't stop texting. "Thinking about your body. Don't wear panties tonight. I need another taste." It was hot at first. But then it got intense. He started showing up at my job. Just sitting in his car watching. He sent flowers. Notes. Even tried to send money. And when I didn't reply fast enough his tone changed. "Are you with someone else? Don't play games with me, sweetheart. I gave you the best night of your life. Don't forget that." I should have been scared. But part of me loved it. The attention. The power. The fact that he wanted me more than Jason ever did. But it got worse. One night Jason and I had dinner, just the two of us. Trying to talk things out. No yelling, just unfinished business. Mr. Carter called me 6 times. I ignored them. But as soon as Jason left, there was a knock on the door. It was him. Drunk. Eyes wild. "You went out with him?" he asked. I tried to explain it wasn't like that. But he stepped in, slammed the door shut and pinned me against the wall. "Don't make me feel stupid. I know what we have." And then he kissed me. Hard. Desperate. His hands all over me as if claiming me again. And the worst part? I let him. I moaned into his mouth. I wrapped my legs around him. I let him take me right there against the wall like I needed him more than air. Because in that moment maybe I did. But later that night, lying in bed with the taste of him still on my lips, I started to wonder. Was this really about revenge? Or had I just traded one toxic man for another? Because Mr. Carter wasn't letting go. And I could feel it in the way he touched me now. Harder. Rougher. Like he owned me. He started showing up at my apartment unannounced. Leaving his things in my closet. Telling me what to wear. And once he even told me to quit my job. "You don't need to work, baby. I'll take care of everything." Jason noticed. He started asking questions. And Mr. Carter didn't even hide it anymore. One night I found Jason waiting in the living room. Tense. Red-eyed. He said, "Are you sleeping with my dad?" And before I could answer, Mr. Carter stepped out of the shower, my shower, wearing nothing but a towel. He smirked. "She's not your girl anymore, son." Jason lunged. I screamed. And that was the night everything started to fall apart. But it wasn't over. Not even close. Because the next day, I found a key to Mr. Carter's house in my bag. And a note that said, "Move in with me. I'll make you forget he ever existed." I should have thrown that key away. Should have walked away from all of it. But I didn't. I packed my things the next morning while Jason was at work. No note. No goodbye. Just silence. And when I walked into Mr. Carter's house, he kissed me like I was already his wife. He poured wine, made dinner, ran a bath, and told me I'd never have to lift a finger again. It was paradise. First. But paradise doesn't come without a price. He started making rules. No posting online. Don't wear makeup outside. Don't answer calls unless it's me. He said it was to protect what we had. That people would judge us. That Jason would try to ruin it. I believed him. Until one day I tried to leave the house without telling him. And he locked the gate from his phone. I laughed at first. But when I turned around, he was standing in the hallway, arms crossed, no smile on his face. Why are you leaving without asking me? I told him I was just going to grab coffee. You don't need coffee, he said. You need to learn how to listen. He walked up to me slowly, gently brushed the hair from my face, then gripped my chin. Tight. I give you everything. Don't disrespect me. I nodded. And just like that he kissed me again. Hard. Deep. Possessive. And the sick part? I kissed him back. Because even when he scared me, he turned me on. That night, he tied my wrists to the headboard. Said he wanted to remind me who I belonged to. I didn't fight it. I let him spread me out fully exposed. Completely at his mercy. And when he looked at me, really looked, he didn't blink. You're mine. Every inch of you. Inside and out. His tongue traced every inch of me. Slow. Cruel. Like he was punishing me with pleasure. He bit my thighs. Made me beg. Held me down until I came so hard I screamed his name, and his name only. Then he whispered in my ear. If you ever leave me, I'll ruin you. I didn't know if he meant it, but something in his voice said he did. He took my phone the next morning. Said I didn't need it anymore. You're safe with me. The world out there doesn't deserve you. I was cut off from friends, family, everything. He hired a driver to take me anywhere I wanted, but I had to ask first. He put cameras in the house. Said it was for security. But I knew. They were for control. Every time I smiled at someone on TV, he'd ask who they reminded me of. Every time I dressed up, he'd ask who I was trying to impress. I was starting to feel like a doll. Beautiful one. Well-fed. Well-dressed. But locked in a glass case. One night, I found a letter tucked in one of my old purses. It was from Jason. I know he has you. I know what he's doing. If you want out, meet me. I'll wait every night at 9 p.m. by our old apartment. Just once. Please. I stared at it for hours. But I couldn't decide if it was hope or a trap. Because the next morning Mr. Carter kissed my forehead and said something I'll never forget. I saw the letter. And if you ever think about leaving me again, I'll make sure you regret it. Asterisk. Then he smiled. Like he hadn't just threatened me. Now get dressed. I booked us a weekend getaway. Somewhere private. Somewhere no one will find us. As the car pulled out of the driveway, I looked back at the house. At the life I used to live. At the girl I used to be. And I knew. This wasn't revenge anymore. This was a prison. But the scariest part? Some twisted part of me didn't want to leave. Not yet. The weekend getaway was deep in the mountains.
No neighbors.
No signal. Just silence and him. Mr. Carter rented a secluded cabin with floor-to-ceiling glass windows. A hot tub on the deck. A stocked fridge. A giant bed with silk sheets. It should have felt like luxury. But it felt like a trap. The first night he cooked for me. Fed me with his hands. Rubbed my feet by the fire. Told me he loved me. Said he'd never let me go. Ever. And when we got into bed, he didn't just make love to me. He consumed me. He tied a silk scarf around my eyes. Whispered, if you can't see anything else, maybe you'll finally see me. His hands moved slow. Too slow. Every touch was a tease. Every breath against my skin drove me wild. He slid his fingers between my thighs and said, you're mine. Say it. I hesitated. So he stopped. Pulled away. Waited. Until I whispered, I'm yours. Then he kissed me like a man starved. Rough, deep, possessive. The kind of kiss that bruises and brands. He took his time entering me, watching my face as I gasped, hips bucking toward him. He moved slowly at first, groaning every time I tightened around him. Then faster. Deeper. Harder. Until I was screaming his name into the walls. He gripped my neck, not to hurt, but to own. to remind me who I belonged to. And when I came, shaking, breathless, nearly in tears, he came right after, growling in my ear, "You'll never leave me now. You know that, right?" And deep down, I did. The next morning, I tried to check my phone. Gone. He stood at the window, shirtless, sipping coffee. Said casually, "Phones distract you. I want you present with me." When I didn't answer, he turned around. Eyes cold. "Do you miss him?" he asked. I shook my head. He smiled. "Good. Because if you ever look at my son again, I'll destroy both of you." Then he pulled me into a kiss. Not romantic. Not gentle. The kind of kiss that said, "You're mine or you're nothing." That night he bathed me, combed my hair, laid me down like a doll on white sheets. And when he slid inside me again, slow and deep, he whispered, "This isn't love anymore, baby. This is forever." I didn't cry, didn't fight, didn't even blink, because something inside me had changed. I wasn't trying to escape anymore. I wasn't waiting for Jason. I wasn't even sure I remembered who I was before all this started. All I knew was him. His hands, his voice, his body, and the way he made me feel like no one else ever could. You think you'd never fall for a man like that, until he makes you feel like no one else exists. That night he didn't make love to me. He studied me, watched every reaction, memorized every sound, every shiver, like he was learning how to own not just my body, but my soul. And when I lay there, breathless, ruined, and shaking beneath him, he kissed my lips, then whispered in the dark, "If I die first, promise you'll bury me inside you." That's when I realized he wasn't just obsessed with me. He wanted to become a part of me, forever.
No escape.
No freedom. No turning back. Only him. And the scariest part? I think I want that too. If you think this was crazy, wait till you hear what happens when Jason finds out I'm pregnant. And it might not be his dad's. Or his.